Okay, guys, this week we checked out different artists, some solo performances and some rapping from BTS, and then today I wanted to check out a Bangtan Bomb. This is Jin recording his first ever composition. I'm genuinely interested in seeing this and how they record and stuff like that. I see they're in the living room right here, which is interesting, which tells you something. Tells you don't always need to be $1 million studio, $1 million equipment and stuff like that. You sometimes that stuff will compensate a little bit if you're not that good, but if you are that good, then you don't always need that stuff. You can record in the bathroom, any place you got some good reverberance, stuff like that. And then I was also thinking too, so if you saw my past videos, I was talking about possibly again designing some t-shirts for you guys. So again, I want to give out like anywhere from 10 to 20 of those, because of everything that's going on right now. Design some of those, send them out to people, just to try to cheer up people that have been, supporting the channel, watching me, stuff like that, commenting, sending me messages on Instagram to help me figure out what videos to watch, stuff like that. So, again, let me know if there's any specific designs or styles or type of merch that you guys want. And then besides that, I was thinking too, because everybody's pretty much stuck inside and you guys are a community. I know there are already a lot of Facebook groups, Telegram groups and stuff like that, but first off, I want to make a group for you guys to be able to talk and if there's anything going on, get support from each other. And then I'll be looking at it too, so you guys could directly reach me there and stuff like that. But besides that, what channel would you guys want if I did do that? Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp, etc. And second off, is that something you guys would want? So yeah, let's start recording and we're gonna get into this. It's way comfier to put the earphones over your jacket. That's for sure. So typically what you got to do when you start off with these is find your levels and stuff like that, which means when you're talking and everything or singing, you're going to want to sing at that normal level you would do, and then either you or the producer is going to, between the two of you, whether you're recording alone or with another person, is going to figure out how loud your voice needs to be, and you'll hear about how high it is in comparison to the song already. That way when you go on the computer, you don't have to add too much gain to it. You don't have to boost the levels too much, because if you do that, you're going to get a lower quality mix. You want your levels to be basically right alongside with the music, and as equalized as possible. And then inside the song, afterwards, you can turn down. Ideally, you want to turn down or turn up the music a little bit. You don't really want to do too much to the vocals, but if you need to create kind of a difference in the tracks and stuff like that to keep the audience listening, then you can boost up one set of vocals and lower the other one, so that it creates that pattern break that's gonna just naturally keep the person interested. So even though I may not speak the same language, I'm just gonna watch and try to figure out what they're doing and stuff like that.
살짝 급한 것 같은데 1.5? 1.5? 오케이, 잠시만. 1로 한 번만 해봐도 1이요. 이게 답은 맞는 것 같아요. 저도 이게 나은 것 같아요. 이걸로 하겠습니다. 딜레이가 조금 죄송합니다. 많이 까다롭죠? 이 밤이 지나면 볼 수 없을까 봐줘.
So it may be a stylistic choice, but he has a lot of breathiness coming through there, and that these guys sing a lot, and I'm sure they have some really good singing teachers and stuff like that. So it's most likely a stylistic choice, but what the breathiness does is it'll give you that little bit of a like hey, like it'll give you that little bit kind of darker tone a little bit, stuff like that. But it may also be that he is used to doing a little bit more of one style or another, and he hasn't gotten a good breath support training and stuff like that. And on the producing side, it may be covering up a little bit of that breathiness so that nobody can really ever tell, or it makes no difference when you're listening on even live, because they can edit the vocals live and get the mix and stuff like that out too. But if you don't have the proper breath support, then it's going to cause that. So typically when you're trying to get a big breath to be able to hit those higher notes and stuff like that, if you tell somebody to take a big breath, what they're going to do is go and they're going to pull their chest out. When in actuality, if you tell somebody to just take a real quick breath as opposed to a big breath, they're going to do it right. They're going to go, and then what's going to happen is your stomach's going to come out a little bit, and that's how you truly pull the lungs down and get that big breath, so that when you go to hit those higher notes and lower notes and stuff like that, you have the proper vocal support. You want the air to be coming out nice and smooth. When you go like this and then go like that, and you have to reach for it, then you have that breathiness coming out. But if you're sucking in from down there, you're able to control the flow a lot better, so it comes out real smooth. But again, it could be a stylistic choice, whatever it is. That was still a high note. That's still difficult to hit. It's just it's real interesting. It's like, it's real hard to tell, because like that specific style they do does take that breathiness, because how they're ending off the vowels and everything when they're at the end of their words is like they kind of need that a little bit to make it have that airy texture to it. So on the audio interface that I have over there, you can press the air button and it'll actually help to kind of increase that breathiness sort of sound. It'll add a little bit of that to it, and it's just a different style, makes it a little bit smoother. But I'm real interested in whether or not he's trying to make it sound super smooth. The difference is you're going to be able to have a lot smoother tone without hearing any of that, and on top of that, you're not going to damage your voice, or at least not damage your voice as much. And then secondly, besides not damaging your voice, you're going to be able to go a lot longer and hit higher notes easier and hit lower notes easier, and there's a lot of benefits to that proper vocal support. is also a little bit close to the mic. You're supposed to be about this far. And the reason is, if you're that close, even if you have that pop filter, you're gonna get a lot of plosives. Unless they turn his, even if they turn his mic down a lot on the other side, when you're that close, you're gonna hear in the computer, you're gonna hear a lot of p, 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 and it's gonna create that kind of staticky feedback sort of sound, except it's not actual feedback. You're not having too much, electricity go back and forth. It's just you're too close to the mic. And if you might say like, oh, maybe he needs to be in order to be that quiet, but no, you can turn up the recording volume, and you could actually be this far and whisper like this, and you could whisper and it would still come through pretty clear. The only difference is the clarity in your mix afterwards you're not gonna have to do as much to it. It's gonna come through a lot cleaner. What I do to if I'm helping like my girlfriend try to practice recording, or anybody else, what I do to kind of counteract that a little bit is I push the pop filter out further. That way, and then I tell them, hey, stay a little bit away from the pop filter, because you're naturally going to stay about 2 or 3 inches away from the pop filter. And if the pop filter is about 2 or 3 to 4 inches away, then you get that natural 6-inch distance you want between you and the mic. Sometimes what happens is, whether it's on the artist side because of ego or this and that, or whatever it is, and then sometimes just the fact that like you got famous so quick, or you spent so much time practicing and practicing other things, choreography, stuff like that, and you're so busy, they compensate a lot by doing things to their voice that may not necessarily be healthy. And I'm not a vocal teacher. This is just stuff I've learned. He may be doing it perfectly fine, I don't know, but I'm just saying, a lot of times people get to a certain level. For example, Sam Smith, right? Beautiful, amazing voice, but because he wasn't he may have even been doing the right technique, but because he didn't have the time and everything else that it takes aside from the technique, and then if he was doing the technique a little bit wrong, which people say he was, then what happened is he had a vocal hemorrhage because he wasn't prepared to go and do 1 million shows at that level, and he wasn't doing the right things with his voice to support that long-term commitment he needed to do. See, that one for sure. I know, probably, yeah. So you don't want to be having to turn your jaw like that too much. You can open up and down, but you don't want to have to crank it to the side and crank your head to the side and stretch up. What that is that's a compensation for not being able to hit that higher note, like like not being able to go up high in a natural prone position. What you do is you go like that, and then you're able to go, like you're able to hit that higher note a little bit easier. Ideally, you want to be hitting that note from completely, just normal, position, just right here, looking forward, and just opening your mouth and going A-E-I-O-U to pronounce the different vowels you need to do. And a little bit, you can open up a little bit, but you don't want to be doing this too much, because what it's doing is it's compensating, and it's pulling your muscles inside your throat in ways they're not supposed to be going, and that's what damages your throat. And that's a compensation for having a hard time hitting the higher notes, which is a lack of somebody showing you the proper way to do it. So if he has, his singing teachers, seeing this, they should be showing him the right way to do things. And you'll hear the difference. When you do that, even if you can't see the person, there was a wall between you, you'll hear a little bit of a muffle, and you'll hear the behind it. And then for example, like you heard the other guy do it, that sounded, without seeing him, that sounded like he was pretty much maybe lifting a little bit, but he had proper vocal support, which enables you to, as long as you're doing the other techniques, which is like, for example, imagining you have like an egg in your mouth, so you can create some resonance there a little bit, and having that proper vocal support, that's what enabled him to hit that higher note and have it sound so loud. And I don't think he was going like that. That was good. See, when he didn't think about it so much, and he wasn't recording and like a little bit stressed out and under pressure, and he had the ear off so he could hear himself, then completely prone, he just took a normal breath without going like that. He took a normal breath, and he, I have a hard time going that high, but he was able to just smoothly get out that high pitch. He didn't have to go like that. And there's no reason to, because the mic, you can turn the volume up afterwards, so you don't have to scream into it. Sounds good on the recording. You could hear in the... That was good. Sounds good on the recording and the playback. I think that's what he's saying too, the thumbs up. That one sounds very forced. I don't know if he's trying to explain to him that it sounds forced or what, but the one that he just did, that sounded like he was pulling a lot right here and tensing up. You want to be completely relaxed. Always gotta hydrate. Have that water bottle there. That was smooth. I like that one. Typically with the reason I wanted to see this is because typically with their other performances and stuff like that, even if it's live, usually the live things, before that company will post it, they'll go in and do post-production on it. So, and their songs are obviously heavily edited, right? Because like that's just how it is, and that's perfectly fine. But it's very hard to break it down when without for a fact that they did all this post-production on it. There's not much to critique, because it's like, okay, yeah, they, everything sounds smooth because there's post-production, which there's supposed to be. That's, it's peace out. Nice. It's cool that he showed us, the behind the scenes and stuff like that. If you guys want me to check out more of those, or if you have, the links to any of those kind of videos, that is what I genuinely like to check out and stuff like that. And it teaches me and gets me to think too, because like I said, everything I said, take it with a grain of salt, because I may be wrong, but that's just stuff that I've learned and stuff like that, at least from my personal experience and from what I've been researching and stuff like that. It gets me to think and go look up other things and learn. So yeah, put them down in the comments, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, because I'm going to make some more of these.